It's Wednesday, August 12th at 8:50 in the morning, and the dogs and I have headed over towards the east to look at an isolated cottage road that I discovered a few months back. Didn't do any video then, but it seemed to have enough interesting features I thought to make a video, so I'm back today to do that. It's a beautiful day out so far. It's about 25 degrees, calm and fairly humid. A high haziness building in, not clear blue skies, but a hazy blue. And we're gonna walk up this road and see what we see today. So it's about a 1.5 kilometer walk until you get close to the lake. And during that time, the road is cutting through young, bushy, scrubby lands, as well as young forest and marshlands and swamps. Eventually you start getting into older forest with larger trees and more shady conditions. Here's a nice patch of Joe Pye weed sprinkled with goldenrod. Very attractive colors. Here's a nice shagbark hickory dancing in the wind. Up until this point, the road has been largely flat. But as we approach the lake, the road gets very undulating. Soon we start seeing evidence of cottages and homes along the lake shore. But as is often the case, the views of the lake itself are rather hindered. Along the way you can see evidence of how much rock they had to cut out to make the road. And at this time of the summer, quite a few people were actually at their cottages or homes. Here's a bit of a view of the lake, not much, but something to look at least. Repurposing an old canoe into a garden. As As you move along the road, you find stretches with very few cottages or no cottages, and then you hit stretches where there's more cottages again. So it goes like that for a while. And eventually the hills get quite steep, and it gives your legs a good workout. Here's some American spikenard, also known as Aurelia racemosa. As you walk further down the road, you get past most of the cottages and homes, and now the road is just leading off into more remote areas where there's just a scattering of cottages or lots. And this is a very pleasing part to go through, at least from my perspective. It's more natural, less disturbed, and nice to see the forest in its natural state. Very pretty through here. Lots of plants and animals to look at, birds singing. White snake root in bloom here. I always enjoy looking at the geology of an area, so it's always fun to look at big rock outcrops like this when you can see them. Well, we're continuing to follow this cottage road to the north. We've gone over 3.8 kilometers, and the road is still going, which is surprising because on the air photos it looks like it had ended several hundred meters ago, but it's still going. And it's a very nice walk, but it's been very hilly over the last half of this cottage road walk. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Eventually the road cuts right across the north end of the lake. We get a nice view looking south. And then we follow the road further on, up more hills. Okay, after 4.3 kilometers, we've reached the end of the road. It basically ends just where a large house is constructed, and they have private property signs beyond there, so I'm not gonna go up around the house to search for anything else as far as a bit of road going beyond it. I think it does end there. So a pretty good little walk, longer than I thought I was gonna get up here. 8.6K, I guess, altogether. And as I said earlier, quite a good workout with all the hills on the last half of this walk. And the weather's been beautiful. It's probably about 25 right now and mostly calm. This is Virginia stick seed. Close up of the seed heads. And this is bristly sedge, or Carex camosa. Gradually, we're making our way out past the cottages again. Here's a particularly steep part of the road, and you can see erosion effects from recent heavy rains. Climbing fumitory vine. And this is American burnweed. And by 11:30 or so, we are ending our hike along this isolated cottage road.